Welcome back to another episode of Two Joes and a Pro. As always, it's Kenny, Ryan, and Brian, the people that you love the most, right? We took off a week last week. So glad to be back. I'm so glad to see my guys. I feel like I haven't seen you in ages, probably because I haven't seen you guys in 2 weeks. So how was you guys? Is Thanksgiving? Like, how are you guys doing? You know, I miss you.
It was great, man. Yeah, Ryan and I, we did Thanksgiving together with a couple other families. So,
Damn yeah.
well,
you went out of town.
Yeah, you left us.
Oh, okay.
You left us. Yeah, we had 2 turkeys. We smoked one, and then we had a fried one. It was good. We had options.
Oh yeah.
Brian
Brian
was wasted. It was good.
I was wasted.
Were you?
Yeah,
Ryan
was
was wasted.
Gone.
Yeah, he was
Maybe.
saucy. He
He had to
saucy.
start
Wasn't
drinking
gone.
water by like 4:00.
Wasn't well, because I was tired.
He's one of those.
I had to go get my tree the next day.
Right.
Tree?
My
What
Christmas tree. We get it the day after Thanksgiving.
I thought you were talking about something else.
Yeah.
No,
I miss you at work though.
Hey. Yeah, I know. I'm not bringing the energy. You guys are probably dead up there. Anyway, let's get straight into it, man. We got a lot to cover, man, in these 2 weeks it's been gone. First, we're going to start off with the NBA. What not to talk about the NBA? A lot has been going on. A lot of injuries. The most recent that came out was Damian Lillard got hurt, ab injury. I know John Morant, he hurt his knee. I know LeBron is in the safety protocols for COVID, which I know people are making like a big issue with that, and I don't understand why. I wanted to ask you guys one thing real quick. What do you guys think about our favorite player in the NBA, Zion Williamson, being out again for another, I think they said 3 to 6 months, right? Did they say that? Or three to 6 weeks? Something like that. It's either 3 to 6
Made a glass.
It's either 3 to 6 weeks or 3 to 6 months, right? And they said, oh, yeah, he'll be back after. Some people joked around saying after Thanksgiving, bro went ham and they said him back. But that's my joke of the day.
I already got on that before about his weight. I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah.
Okay. But, yeah, that's no take on that. As far as who's been performing well in the NBA, everybody knows it's Steph Curry. Steph Curry's been shooting from the other side of the court from people's bench, and he's still been performing good. They actually lost yesterday for the first time in probably, I don't know. I think they're probably double-digit wins by now, win streak. But they lost to the Phoenix Suns, who's actually on fire. They have on a 17-game winning streak, and if they win their next game, they'll be the first team since the Warriors to have an undefeated month. So the Suns have been playing in lights out. They started out 1-3, and then they've been on a 17-game winning streak since then. Klay Thompson's actually coming back from injury, so it'll be good. He got sent down to the G League for a couple games to get warmed up. So it'll be interesting to see what teams do now with Steph Curry being on fire as he is, and then Klay Thompson coming there. You can't double team Steph the whole time if you leave Klay open because threes is going to be raining everywhere, right? Yeah, but that's the biggest news is coming in NBA. I know NCAA basketball, it's a lot of things been shaking around. I know UCLA lost. Duke had upset Gonzaga, which everybody was looking at that game because it's 2 of the top picks with Chet Holmgren and I think his name is Payalo. I forgot how to say his last name. You know, I'm not good with pronunciation. But Payalo, he's a big man. I think he's like 6'10", long wing, can shoot and everything. They upsetted Gonzaga, and then they went and played Ohio State, and then they lost to Ohio State a couple days ago by 5. So everything's kind of been shaken up a little bit in NCAA. It will be very interesting when it gets to March Madness time because there's a lot of teams for the first time in a while. It's a lot of teams that are actually stacked. They had a lot of talent, like 1 through 5, right? I feel like a lot of teams are normally 1 or 2 good players, but a lot of teams this year, especially the top 10, have like 1 through 5. They have scores, like people that can actually go get buckets. So yeah, that's college, and then for college football, I mean,
Ryan just cried. He's letting a tear out. They got smoked.
Yeah, like. Who got smoked?
He's a big Ohio State fan.
I know. I wanted him to say Ohio
I'm not talking
State
about
got
this.
dismantled. They got dogged out. That's your king. We had this conversation a couple weeks ago. Oh my gosh, Ohio State. They got dogged by Michigan. Right, the same Michigan team that lost to Michigan State, the same Michigan State team that lost to Purdue. So like at this point, who really matters, right? Not really you guys, but anyway, the SEC team has a great matchup coming up this week. You got Alabama.
You don't want to talk about Alabama almost choking Auburn. They probably should have lost.
It's the Iron Bowl, bro. It's the Iron Bowl. Listen, every rivalry game, you're gonna have the opponent team, even if they're lesser, give their best punch, right? And of course, Alabama is not great on defense this year. We know that, right? So, yeah, Auburn play vanilla, but they play really well on defense. And it slowed down our offense for the first time in a while. Like, our offense normally is the thing that keep us high power, but it slowed us down. So, kudos to them. They tried, but they didn't. So, at least we did what Ohio State should have did, right? They should have won, but they couldn't win because they couldn't
even make it close. It was bad.
Not even close. Hey, shout out to Coach Day. I know he's a great offensive coordinator, but that boy Harbaugh put them clamps on. You know, it's over.
He's 1-5 against them, right?
Yeah,
that was his first time beating Ohio State, right?
Oh yeah, that's his first time. I think his record is 2-11 in the last, like, since he's been there with Michigan State and Ohio State.
What's Michigan at right now? What they rank Michigan at?
2.
Michigan is at.
They're at 2. Because
they're at 2, and
I'd be interested to see, because I'm super surprised that it's taken him this long. Because, like, when he was in the NFL, he just came out of a Super Bowl. And then Harbaugh, they were like, oh, this guy's going to bring Michigan to dominance, and they're going to be in the playoffs every year. And, like, this is the first time they'll potentially be in the playoffs.
Every year, he's a great recruiter, right? He's good at game planning, right? But his players never get it done, right? He doesn't have those players that are big at getting it done. That kid, Hassan, I forgot how you say his last name, the running back that had 5 TDs. Yeah. I've been watching him play all year, and he's very explosive, right? The guy, their main running back, he got injured, right? He had an ankle injury, so he couldn't even perform. But he's always been playing. Hassan's always been playing behind him. But Hassan is a baller, and they got a good, DN who's a baller, who's going to be probably a first round. I think he's the number 2 defensive end. So they have a lot of players that are actually performing to how they're being recruited. I would say that, right? Because normally they get to this time and they fold, or they get to the bowl game and everybody's expecting something and they get blown out like they did against Florida, like they did against Alabama. Like, that's just been a history. So it's good to see Michigan actually, like, do something for once, right? But yeah, this week we have conference championships. So you got Michigan versus Iowa, which we already know the result of that, right? Because Iowa can never get it done.
Here we go.
Yeah, come on.
That's the only thing he wants. He's like, as long as Michigan loses, I will feel vindicated.
Yeah.
Listen, there's still a path for Ohio State. Okay?
He's crying over spoiled milk.
No, there's not. There's no path.
Yeah, we just need a lot of losses to happen. A lot of losses.
And a couple ties. Ties.
Yeah, a few ties, which doesn't happen, but it's okay. Then you have, I said it like 4 times already, Alabama versus Georgia for the SEC championship. You have Oklahoma State versus Baylor for the Big 12 championship. Go Baylor, right? By the way, big news in the Big 12. You want to say it? Lincoln Riley.
To
USC. Yeah. Okay, my bad. Lincoln Riley went to USC. He signed there, and I don't know if you guys saw what his actual payday was. $110 million. They bought both of his houses that were in Norman for $500,000 over asking price, and they are giving him the access to the private jet 24/7 that he wants, and buying him $1 million home in California.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, you heard that?
Did you hear?
You heard?
Wait, they bought his house and they're buying him $1 million home.
They bought both his homes that's in Norman for $500,000 over asking price, right? And then not only that, they bought him $1 million home in California. His contract is for $110 million, and they give him access to the private jet 24/7 to take him and his family whenever they want. Like, I said, okay, yeah. I would leave too. Yeah. Right? I would leave too.
It sucks that the NCAA doesn't have money to pay, like, their athletes. They gotta
athletes, but they can pay their coach, right? I know. And then Brian Kelly, I haven't seen his contract stuff either, but he left and actually went to LSU, and people are like, why did he leave? And I know they offered him the bag. For him to leave Notre Dame, they offered him something crazy too.
It was
just
over
along
90.
those lines. Oh, like,
Yeah.
oh, man, it's crazy. I'm that's all I have for college. I don't even care about the other conferences. I know Wake Forest is playing against Pitt, and Oregon is playing against Utah again for the Pac-12 championship. But these coaches' salaries is
10
crazy.
years,
Like, if you
95
tell
mil.
me 10 years, 95 million, and then I forgot how many years for doggone Lincoln Riley, but just the fact that 110 million, just even if he doesn't get the total, it's probably 10 or 11 years too, right? Even if he doesn't get that, guess what? His buyout for them to fire him is going to be like 60 million. He's like, "Are you going to fire me? Go ahead. You got to pay me 60
He's not going
million."
anywhere.
Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, man, I don't want to take up too much time. Go ahead.
All right. Well, real quick, we're gonna hit up hockey real quick. So I like to note that Thanksgiving is usually the demarcation for what teams are gonna make the playoffs. So on Thanksgiving, I screenshotted the standings for each conference, and you got Florida, Carolina, Washington, Toronto, New York Rangers, Tampa Bay, Columbus, and Pittsburgh. No Boston Bruins. I just want to note that. So that's most likely going to be maybe one or two teams changes out, but that's most likely going to be your top 8 in the East Conference. You can go ahead and look back to all the years you want to. On Thanksgiving, if you looked at the top 8 in each conference, it's probably about 90% correct. In the West, we got Calgary, Edmonton, Minnesota, Vegas, Anaheim, St. Louis, Winnipeg, and Colorado. So, and Dallas is looking from the outside in on the West. I feel like that they're a better team than what they've shown so far, but I mean, they have one of the best players in Tyler Seguin, so I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, that's all I got for hockey, is just to note that those are probably going to be your playoff teams. So you guys don't even have to watch hockey now. No, I'm just kidding.
But if I'm you guys, and for all the hockey fans that we have that's listening to us, if you guys are into betting, I would take that and go to your sports book and say, okay, cool. Let me look at the odds for these teams that's going to make it to the playoffs. Because if 90%, that's a good percentage for you to try to get your money.
Yeah.
Right.
So, real quick, I just want to hit on baseball. So the other week I said I didn't know why these players were starting to sign already. That's my bad. Tonight, MLB locks out, meaning the players union and the teams have not agreed on a CBA for the next season and in the future. So, yeah, that's gonna be fun.
What does that to do with
So
contracts?
basically, these players probably want to lock in their deals now so they know they get paid, because they don't know how long the lockout could last.
It's gonna be structured.
And yeah, the salaries could go down. They don't know, so they're just locking in now and taking what they can get. So some big names. Surprisingly, the Detroit Tigers are paying out the ass for players this year. I don't know why. They're a small market team, but hey, kudos to Detroit. They're trying to make a team there. They paid for Javier Baez $140 million over 6 years. He's going to be good for them. There was another guy that they got. Hold on, let me get to it. I'm scrolling through a list. Sorry, there's a lot of no-namers that don't really matter. Corey Seeger is another big name. He went to Texas, $350 million. Or sorry, 325.
What?
My bad. Over 10 years. 10 years.
For how many years?
Yeah,
10 years, okay. That's still bad. That's still bad.
$32.5 million a year. I mean, that's insane. He is one of the best hitting shortstops in the league. He's very good defensively. Only concern there is possibly injuries. But yeah, Texas seems to be throwing out money too. It's weird because the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Dodgers have all been kind of idle so far. They really haven't done much. And they're that's where the money's at. So I don't know. I guess they're banking on just picking up what's left when the CBA is finalized. Max Scherzer went to the Mets, $130 million over 3 years. So that's north. Yeah, that's north of 40 a year. That's crazy. And that guy's 39 or something like that. So 38.
I think they said he's He's 38 or 37
Wow.
because they said he should be 40 or 41.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he's probably still one of the top pitchers in the league, so I can't fault him for that. Your AL Cy Young Award winner left the Blue Jays. He's now a Seattle Mariner. Took a 5-year deal, $115 million. Let's see. There's one. I think there was one more that I wanted to hit, but I can't remember.
I saw all the Mets pitchers pretty much got out. Steven Matz left, and then
Noah Syndergaard. He
Noah
went to LA.
Syndergaard went to the Angels.
Starlin Marte was the other one. He went to the Mets as well. Good outfielder. He took $78 million for 4 years.
Just something basic, something slight.
So, I mean,
78.
That's about it. I mean, for the big names, I'm not going to cover everything. There's been like over 50 signings already, which in baseball is just so unheard of. Like I said last time we had an episode, it's just crazy. And now I know why, because I forgot that the lockout was happening. So here we are. We're going to be locked out. Baseball is the one probably team, or baseball and hockey probably are the only two sports that I've seen have actual like long-term lockouts. Like baseball's wiped out a half a year before. Like they don't even care. Like the players don't have a lot of power in that league. It's not like the NBA where the NBA will just be like, "Oh, is that what you want? Oh, here's 10% more. Here you go. Thank you." Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just different. So
different pockets.
So yeah, that's all I got for baseball.
Let's go, Ryan. What do we have for the big bad NFL?
Yeah. Well, did you guys hear that the game last week was like it was the Thanksgiving game against the Cowboys and who'd they play? The Raiders? That was like the most like watched game in like the last like 20 years or something like that. It was like the most viewed game. It was a pretty good game.
Yeah.
But
probably it's one of the two biggest fan bases too, right?
Well, yeah,
the Raiders and
Vegas.
the Cowboys,
That fan base is getting bigger. I like the Raiders. I like what they are. What are your guys' thoughts? I want to get your, as a former running back, Kenny. I want to get your thoughts on this. What do you think are the chances of Jonathan Taylor getting the MVP vote? Getting like MVP votes and being in true consideration, because usually, like the last running back I think to win this award was AP, and isn't that a year where he like had to rush for like 2,000 yards?
He went nuts.
Yeah.
I would say the fact that Derrick Henry hasn't won one, it doesn't look good for Jonathan Taylor to win one. This year it might lean more into his favor just because who is really balling as far as like offensive product or defensive product. It's kind of hard to see that in the NFL. But I think the only thing or asterisk that you could put by him is that he started too late to be having these big boy numbers, right? If he was doing it the whole season longevity-wise, I think, But for him to have like a couple games in the beginning where he was like slow, maybe 90 yards or stuff here. But then now, these last couple weeks, he's been 130, 140 plus. Like, I think he just started a little bit too late. Because I know they're going to show more favoritism to a quarterback, right? Tom Brady's numbers, they look good. You know, Matthew Stafford, his numbers don't look bad, right? So some quarterbacks that you're like, oh my gosh, these old guys, let's give them some love, right? That I think they can show a little favoritism to, or somebody on the defense that might come up as of late, a name that we know of. So that's my thoughts.
Who's leading? Yeah, Brady. I mean, it's just so difficult with him because he does it every year. So it's like he has to do something extra. Yeah. Like it's just
and but they're gonna every year it's kind of like, oh man, Brady but then they're like, but he is 40 this years old. He is 40 this years old. It's like they always.
I mean, Stafford's right behind him, so I would love to see Stafford win that. But I mean, probably won't happen.
The big knocks on those guys though right now is their interceptions are both kind of high. I feel like, especially for Brady, he's almost double digits. I mean, that's.
They have to have a hell of an ending to the season to actually do something, right? But I think when it gets towards the end, it's kind of locked up. They're going to put them down. They're like, oh, y'all got.
I think if Rodgers plays and if he keeps playing the way he has been the last couple of weeks, he could make a push at the end of this season to get it because he's only got 4 picks. So if he can get his touchdowns up, his yards. He's only 600 back. It's not. I mean, it's going to be a little more than that actually because they're on the bye week this week, right? Yeah. So yeah, he had that.
Kirk
one
Cousins
game.
is right there with him.
Kirk Cousins is crazy.
He's balling out, man.
For him, that is really.
He's good. He's the most underrated quarterback in the league right now. I would say.
Yeah.
Nobody's even talking about Minnesota.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
No one is. But you know what it is? Everyone underestimates his receivers are so good. Dude, Justin Jefferson, I'm a believer. I was like, I'm like, this guy is so good. His swagger, everything, and then Thielen is, he's decided to embrace that role of like, I'm just your red zone dude. If you need a touchdown, I'm gonna make a ridiculous catch. I don't need a lot of targets. When they get within the 25, he's the guy he looks for. I mean, it's just, I love him.
I really think like it was like a Stephon Diggs and then Adam Thielen took over the roles at number one. So, but Stephon didn't want to deal with it. Okay, send Stephon to the Buffalo Bills. Adam Thielen's the number one. Now that you have Jefferson coming up and Jefferson is for sure the number one, Adam Thielen is not fighting that, right? Which I think is different. Which I think the organization was like, how's he going to deal with it? Adam Thielen's like, I'm cool. I'm cool with being the red zone guy number two. And I'm perfectly fine with that, right? He has no ego in that regards. And everybody's like, for real? Too easy. And then now it's kind of
crazy. A wide receiver without an ego.
Hey, I had looked up this stat earlier while you guys were talking about college football, and I wanted to share it. It was an ESPN article. We were talking about money, but did you know in the last 10 years, the FBS has paid out $533.6 million in dead money to coaches, assistant coaches, just to get rid of people. Like, and that's well, it includes other sports. It's NCAA FBS conferences for college football and then men's and women's basketball. But like, that's a ton of money.
But the basketball don't really get fired.
These people are just getting fired and they're just like, let's move on. But I bet you a majority of that is coming from football.
Probably.
I know Charlie Strong contract when he was at Texas to buy him out. I think they had to pay him 14 or 15 million to buy him out.
Yeah.
Like, and Charlie Strong left, and people are like, why is Charlie Strong not trying to get a head coaching job anywhere?
Before.
He got 15 mil. Why I need to work for the year? I'm good. Let me go chill on the beach.
Got a nice vacation.
It's crazy money. It's crazy money out there. The institutions really have all the money, but they make it seem like we don't have anything. They have all the money. And they wonder why so many programs are upset that they don't get better facilities or all this, because football and basketball is the number one and two generating revenue for every school.
Crazy. Anyways, I thought that was interesting. Tre'Davious White out for the season with a torn ACL, so the horseshoes right up the ass for freaking Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Everything's just gonna line up for him this year. It's gonna be great. We'll get into it later, but I just want to talk about like some of the stuff that's going on with the Patriots. We'll talk about it later. AJ Brown. Okay, AJ Brown's on injured reserve with a chest injury, so that kind of sucks for the Titans. Which they just played the Patriots, so that kind of lines up to what I was talking about earlier. Hey, the Falcons cannot play football on offense without Cordell Patterson on the field because he played this week and they balled out. The Falcons look good offensively when they have like a good offense out there.
Did you hear what that coach said? Caveat. Did you hear what that coach said?
No, what'd he say?
They said Cordell Patterson is so good. We have to have him on the field in all aspects. We can put him on special teams. They said we put him on offense, and we might even put him at safety. They have him as the number 3 safety on their team right now. I said, what? They actually have him on the depth chart, number 3 safety.
Speaking of players like that, I want to go ahead and I don't want to apologize because in the episode, I'm pretty sure I said that I like Debo and Ayuk. I just thought Ayuk was going to have a better season, but I was wrong. Debo Samuel is the guy. The guy's playing running back. He's playing receiver, but he is injured. So,
so now it's Ayuk. I got you. I knew you were going to say it this week. I knew you were going to say it. Even the league that I have him in, I'm actually losing. I'm out of it, so it doesn't even matter. So whatever. But I hope he balls for y'all.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So, I've been trending down in our fantasy league anyway.
Yeah.
Figures, right?
Hey, Cam Newton fell apart. Speaking of falling apart, Cam Newton had a rough go at it. Yeah. Matt Rule came out and said that he's going to remain the Panthers starter against who do they play this week? The Dolphins, I think. No, that was last week. Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're on bye.
Who do they play this week?
They're on bye.
Are they on bye?
Yeah.
He's going to be the Panthers starter after the bye.
He still might throw an interception this week. Okay.
Stop.
Give PJ a shot. God,
I know, right?
Just let him rock out, man. Or at least let it go 50-50 like they did in the Arizona game.
Man, I knew this was going to happen with Cam. I just thought it was going to be like another week or something. I was giving him like 2 weeks to be okay. Never mind. I was wrong. The 1 week.
Here's the thing, though. The Dolphins are balling out, though, on defense. They're playing well. Like, I thought they were going to have a good defense going into the year. They've been playing a lot better. And my man
and Tua's been good too.
Yeah,
he looked like the old Cam, and I was just like, oh god.
I know, but even Christian McCaffrey had a bad game, and Christian McCaffrey has a bad game, and he still gets targeted. Like he couldn't do anything because he didn't get injured in that game until late. Well, speaking of which, Christian McCaffrey's out for the rest of the year. Guy just can't stay healthy.
Good segue. Good segue.
Just cannot stay healthy. I don't know what it is. More to come on that. I don't know what it is, man. Dalvin Cook, another running back, went down. He has a torn labrum, I think it is.
His shoulder.
But yeah, and a dislocated shoulder. So he'll be out for at least a couple weeks. But they say it's not long term, that he should be able to come back this year. But the Vikings are going to need him if they want to make a push in the NFC. So we'll see how that goes.
I like Madison, though.
Madison balled out every time Cook's out, so I don't know why they actually need Cook.
Well,
I don't know. If I was them, I'd be like, okay, this means we can count on Madison. We'll go ahead and not pay Cook. That's what they should do.
They already cashed him out last year.
Fournette is a dog. Leonard Fournette is a dog. He is on that TB12 diet. Brian, I'm sure, is loving it because he has him in a league or two. Dude scored 4 touchdowns this week. Speaking of another dog, we got Joe Mixon, who's been balling out the last couple weeks. I love if they can run the ball like this with Joe Mixon, with the offensive weapons that they have at receiver with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, like Burrow playing the way he's been playing. He's rushing for touchdowns. His knee looks great. I think once a game when I watch the Bengals play, though, I get nervous because like Burrow will get hit and I'm like, oh, he ain't getting up. This is gonna be it.
Oh, his knee gone.
But he's balling out. And I want to bring up another guy that I was all hyped up on preseason wise. I love me some Jalen Waddle. Him and Tua, that connection, he's balling out. He's another receiver that's he's got.
I feel like they all have come on as of late. Like everybody hit their stride. Like, oh, it's half the way through the season. Okay, let me show what I really do. Waddle's been balling.
I will say this. This is if you look at like metrics from like past seasons, the second half of the year, wide receivers, for some reason, they figure it out and they just become better. Either it's getting adjusted to like the game speed or like the play style.
Rookies or just
wide receiver rookies specifically. Like look at like Justin Jefferson, second half of the year, balled out. Like Amari Cooper. Yeah, Jamar Chase was like the opposite. He balled out in the beginning and is like he's like fizzed out as of late. So
hello.
Yeah,
God,
he's like take a back seat so that T. Higgins could do his work. T. Higgins looked good last week. Christian McCaffrey's out for the rest of the year. I already said that. The Steelers also placed T.J. Watt under the reserve COVID list, so they'll be without him this week. Trying to scroll through. Hey, the Seahawks lost that game against the Ravens, and Lamar played pretty poorly, but they won despite it. So, go Ravens!
How many picks
and Brian?
was that?
Four interceptions.
All right, thank you.
Brian was super hyped up because 2 reasons during that game. One, he wanted he loves when Lamar does terrible because for some reason he's a sick person and it brings him joy.
I don't
And
love
two,
it. I just know I
he
just like
wanted
being right.
to be first place. Okay. You're not right just because of one game.
Who you talking about what games you're talking about the Ravens, right?
Ravens versus Seattle? Was it Seattle?
That was
Who'd they play?
That was the week we missed.
No, that was
Who'd they
Cleveland.
play?
They played Cleveland. That's
Cleveland. Yeah,
they played Cleveland. Yeah, I was about to say that's why I was throwing me off. I was like, man, Seattle played Washington on Monday. And they lost.
Yeah, that was another one.
Yeah.
I'm not a.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, man. All right. I mean, the Giants are trash, so I'm not even gonna bother talking about them.
As long as
they beat the Eagles, so
they
there's that.
They can't even get a good pick because they're like, oh, we can get a top 10 pick. Nah, never mind. We're gonna win a couple games, get 15.
Hey man, whatever. Someone messaged me today and said there was like a rumor. I didn't validate this. There's a rumor that Sean Payton is going to be trying to leave to go to the Giants. That's just a rumor that they heard. So I like Joe Judge, but don't get me wrong. If Sean Payton,
and it's a rumor that I'm going to be 6'3" next year.
Well, I mean, how close are you?
Why would he leave?
You wearing them high tops?
Oh my gosh! Why would he leave New Orleans to go to the Giants?
Because he was their offensive coordinator years back.
It's a better coaching job. It just is. New York, the Giants is one of the premier teams, like historically. It's just like a. It's just one of the premier jobs.
Who wants to free agent wise? Who wants to go to New Orleans? I'm not trying to get my house flooded.
People like to go to New York though.
Oh my God! Cut it out. I'm not doing that either. No sir. You're not leaving me in that one.
That's messed up.
All right. Is that? Yeah, I'm not going. Yeah, listen. Are you done with football? Because you're going crazy.
That's it, man. Hey.
All right, man. Let's get straight into the great debate, which is really not a crazy debate this week. It's more of a discussion. I want to get you guys' opinion. I had a couple questions for you guys with the not so superstars, because a lot of guys is getting injured, a lot of stuff is happening. I kind of want you guys' opinion. So we'll just piggyback off with the football segment. With the first question being, what is the issue with Russell Wilson?
I'll just take this real quick. His team blows, and Pete Carroll, I think, is losing it. He's losing an edge when it comes to coaching up players. Like, he used to be able to get these later round picks and coach them up and kind of like what Belichick does and get more out of them than most. And it's kind of fizzled out for him. So the team around Russell is deteriorated. He's never had an offensive line, and it continues to get worse. He's playing with a broken finger still right now, but I mean, it's him against everybody else. Like he's by himself. Yeah, he's got a couple good weapons, but he's got no time to throw it. He has to move out of the pocket almost every time. I don't blame him, and I think if Seattle's smart, then they'll trade him and try to maximize.
To the Giants? Dude, I would lose my mind. I'd lose it.
That would be a good landing spot for him, honestly. But yeah, I would trade Russell Wilson and get rid of Pete Carroll maybe and rebuild. It's over in Seattle. Sorry.
It sucks because they do have good offensive, like their receivers are good.
They only have two. Let's cut it out. Everybody's like, they have two guys, right? One is sometimey, and the other one is a big play occasionally. DK Metcalf had one good year or 2 good years, right? But
he's not had a decent year this year.
Other than that,
decent. He's got like 8 touchdowns.
Right? But he's him and doggone Tyler Lockett are like one of the same.
Yeah.
One of them are going to have a good game. The other one disappears. They're never having like 2 good games at the same time.
That's because I think that the creativity on offense, they are not able to call plays to be able to get them both involved. It's like they game plan one, like for the first half they game plan for Metcalf, and then second half they're like, all right, Lockett, it's your turn. Or like it's just like this game is just a Metcalf game. Like, good luck trying to decipher that. Their real issue when it comes to Seattle is they are good when they can run the ball. They cannot run the ball right now without Chris Carson. They like he was the guy in the beginning of the year. Granted, they weren't like doing excellent, but they were winning a game here and there, and like Russell was playing how Russell normally plays. But then since they've lost Chris Carson, there's just no threat in their run game. And like as much as I love Alex Collins, he's just not it right now. He's not playing well.
He's not.
So that's their
and it's
issue.
crazy they didn't even want to give Chris Carson his money.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
This is why.
You can have a good run game though, even with a scrub back. I mean, teams have proven that over the years. It's all about the offensive line.
Yeah, but you have to have a good offensive line, and I think their offensive line is terrible. And they're not getting it right. I definitely agree with you though, Brian. They have to. Pete Carroll has to retire. They have to trade Russell Wilson and just start over again, rebuild. Right? I would trade Tyler Lockett. I would trade DK Metcalf. Try to get as many picks as you guys could, and then start over again.
I would keep Metcalf,
right? Because
he's still young. You can build around him.
But he's not a great route runner. He's not. So with that being said, he's like Kenny Golladay, right? He's only going to give you a couple routes and that's it. So like you need other.
You don't have to.
Around
you don't
him,
have to be like that. Right?
Sorry, why not put him on a better team? All right, I'll go to our second question. Right, the second question is: has Christian McCaffrey fallen under the get paid injury curse?
Go ahead, Ryan.
It's such a difficult thing to say. I don't know why. Looking at it at face value, you have to say yes. Since he's been paid, he's just gotten consistently injured. So, but I don't know why. But the games he does play in, he does really well. So it's not like he's underperforming and then gets injured and he's just trash. It's when he plays, he's good and they win games. But when he's not there, he gets injured pretty often. But I don't know what I wouldn't say that it's a money thing. I think he's just injury prone. Either I don't know if it's his workout. He's something happened the last couple of years.
But I would say to that, right, in the beginning, he didn't have the money and he was playing perfectly well, right? He was not getting injured as much, right? He was always there, he's available. But as soon as he gets his money, then it's kind of like, here you go. It's like the Todd Gurley effect.
The Todd Gurley effect is a little different. He had a deteriorating knee issue. But I will sort of agree with you because some of the hamstring stuff, maybe in years past, if he didn't have the money, maybe he pushes through and it's like. But I don't know. You can't know that.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, soft tissue injuries is different. A lot of soft tissue injuries, I'm in my understanding, it's a lot of taking care of your body, which I think he takes care of his body. So I'm curious to understand is this hydration not right, or did he change trainers or coaches or whatever that does the actual physical treatment for him, which is why it might lead to another injury or something, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense how you have a guy that's been so healthy and yes, he got his contract, but then he just starts getting injured, soft tissue injuries, or he's rolling his ankles all the time now. It's what did he switch up?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I don't know what else to add. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. I also have him in fantasy, so I feel bad for myself.
I'm the same way though.
McCaffrey's drafted in the first round, right?
What's that?
He was drafted in the first round, right?
Was he? Yeah, he might have
either late first or early second. I'm not exactly sure.
So hold up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he was drafted 8th overall. So here's the issue. One of two things that teams need to realize. One, drafting running backs really high, it's not a great investment. Look at what's happening with Saquon. He was drafted really second overall, but the contracts that you're paying and then the possibility of injury, I'd rather take a guy in the 4th round, maybe not as explosive and as great as Saquon or Christian McCaffrey, but if they get injured, they probably will just like these players, it's not a big a hit on your team. And also, what I didn't realize that they paid him after his 3rd season. Yep. They still had a 4th and then a 5th year option. I get it. Kudos to the Panthers for trying to take care of their players. They wanted to pay him, but at the end of the day, you got to take care of the franchise, and they'll never do that again. If you draft a quarterback or running back in the first round, he's playing all 5 years.
Yeah, I think they did that because of the trajectory that he was going to be. It's going to cost us more, right? Because at that time he had 3 seasons. He was balling out every season. He broke a couple records, 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards running. People are like, oh my gosh, this is going to get really expensive. So if we lock him up right now for that deal, then it won't hurt us down the road because he's probably going to continue this. But then it just happens.
And you have him under contract longer into his prime, and then you can cut bait earlier if he does start to deteriorate, which it looks like he might be. I mean, he's only 24. And
yeah, it's not like he's old.
And it doesn't look good right now. I mean, hopefully he bounces back. At least it's not significant injuries, but it's just annoying. Like, it's just annoying to the team, I'm sure, that like if we can't rely on you, you're not worth it.
You hear it, then you gone. You hear a couple of games, then you gone.
We need somebody that can play at least 13, 14 games.
Yeah.
Let me get to this third question. It's going to be real quick. I'll just get your opinions real quick so we can make room for the fourth. The third question is Odell, in you guys' opinion, one-word answer, is he still a wide receiver one?
I don't think he ever was.
Well, that's not true. So
yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say that.
Okay, I'm going to give you – go ahead. Explain your reasoning
I
on
just
that.
think
Briefly.
I just think he had like 1 or 2 like good years, and he had a Hall of Fame quarterback, future Hall of Fame quarterback, throwing him the ball. It's a little different when you just have some scrub throwing you the ball, like Baker Mayfield or, Daniel Jones. So I think he is a number one, right? I just think that you have to be in the right. He is a system wide receiver, I would say, right? He's not a plug and play everywhere type of thing. He has to be a place. Like, it's some receivers that are plug and play. You can put them anywhere, and they're going to be effective. Like, if you put Calvin Johnson, if you put, like Terrell Owens proved that, if you put them anywhere, they're going to be productive, right? I just don't think he's that type of guy. Just based off how he runs his routes and different things like that, he has to be in connection with.
A lot of his routes are going to be like timing routes. They need to be like he's not like getting tons of separation, and he was never like that with the Giants. He was always like right off the line. He was quick, and then boom, Eli got him the ball. Like, it was like really quick.
And then he made
and I think his big issue, like, I will say he had some explosive plays on the Rams this last week, but then he got hurt doing a slant over the middle. He got hit in the back, so I don't know. I know he's injured right now, but I would definitely, the fact that you called him a number one, I just can't get behind that, because there were a couple where he was just like giving up on routes, and that's just maybe he doesn't know the offense, and he was like not cutting the right way, but that's also because he doesn't know the offense. So we'll see what happens if he stays with the Rams next year, and he like has a full off season with Stafford. Maybe.
All right. Well, let me make time, because I know we still got Brian Fantasy and BK Bets. I know Brian's going to like this last question. He's cracking his fingers right now. Are the Patriots the best team in the NFL?
Maybe.
Man, it's not a maybe. I'm gonna take this from Brian. I'm gonna let Brian piggyback off of me, because I know Ryan might say something different. In my opinion, the Patriots are the best team in the NFL. I think Mac Jones, right? Brian kind of was premature with his statement a couple weeks back. I think he's good. I think he's. I didn't think that at the time, right? I think he still had a lot of room to grow. But right now, I know Ryan's gonna say it's been 1 week. I know. But he looked really good last week, and I think Josh and him are having they're eating together at dinner. They're staying late in the facilities. They're starting to understand each other a lot more, because a lot of the play calls are benefiting him a lot. And the run game is still phenomenal. They're still toting the rock. But Kendrick Bourne, I know you called a couple weeks ago. He's good. Like, he's good. And then their defense is balling. So, in my opinion, they're the best team in the NFL right now. just because not only are they playing really good, but Bill Belichick is at the head.
I don't want to steal. I know what Ryan was going to talk about. I don't want to like steal his thunder too much, but they've had some things go their way. I wanted to bring up a stat. The league average for field goal percentage is about 83%. Do you guys know what the average is against the Patriots this year? 61%. Okay, I don't know why, but teams just can't make field goals against this team. I don't know why.
Because Bill's fucking a Sith Lord. He's just
Putting the button on. Hey, he's making the grass hot, making them slip and everything.
Like, there's that. Okay.
The power of the dark side. Sorry.
Oh man.
Fucking nerd.
Look, Ryan started to touch on it. The injuries of their opponents. They haven't faced a team's running back, like their first running back, since I think the Jets. And that's not saying anything. They didn't face Chubb. They didn't face Henry. They didn't face Patterson. I mean, and then look what happened this week. Tennessee still ran the ball all over them for over 200 yards. Just gashed it. And maybe that was somewhat by design somehow, that Bill's like, yeah, we'll play soft, because we want Tannehill. We're going to take care of Tannehill. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I like them. I think that they can match up against any team, and they have a shot. I'll say that. But to say they're the best team, I don't know.
I'm gassing you a little bit.
Also, Kenny, you brought up that you liked this last week with Mac Jones. Did you know that he got his worst PFF grade from this week? I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know that he missed a lot of high throws. He had a lot of high throws. Ryan knows because he was texting me. He had some sequences in this game where he cost them points. He cost them points at the end of the half. It's just, I don't know. I'm not sure that he did. Yes, they did, but I think that they won because Tennessee was god awful. Like
200 and some rushing yards.
Yeah, I know, and they only scored 13 points because their kicker doinked it.
But why is that?
I don't know, man.
Brian, what do you have?
I'm
about to say,
not ready to put them as number one.
I mean,
I know, because you don't want to say because it's going to get you too excited early. So now you're trying to be like, let me go in the opposite direction rather than I'm saying they're the greatest team now. No. I don't know if they're really that good. I don't know. No. That's what you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and let Ryan talk.
I mean, Brian kind of touched on a lot of what I wanted to say, so thanks a lot.
I know.
But it's realistically, they're the best coach team, and we all knew that going into the season. Like, regardless, they have a Hall of Fame coach, the best coach to ever do it. So the fact that they're playing outstanding on defense, kudos. The one game that I probably am most impressed with them is the game against the Chargers. But going forward, the Chargers are kind of like, sometimes they show up, sometimes they're not. So who knows? And then it was a real close game against Dallas. But as Dallas has showed us in recent weeks, maybe their defense is just opportunistic and they take advantage of turnovers. But I mean, every week it's like the stars are aligning. I would not be surprised if tomorrow Josh Allen gets put on the COVID-19 list and you guys get to play against Matt Barkley. I wouldn't even blink. I just went, sounds about right.
Where's Trubisky?
Or sorry, Trubisky.
Yeah.
It's not Barkley. It's Trubisky.
Yeah.
Still,
that's a first round pick right there.
That's just what I think's going on. Mac Jones did throw the ball a little bit more. They took a lot more deep shots with him this week. So maybe they're figuring it out a little bit, because that was my big thing. Is what happens when they shut down the run game? Can Mac Jones throw the ball down the field? And this last game against the Titans, who have been playing pretty well on defense, he showed that he could throw the ball a little bit downfield. It's only one game though, so I'm not gonna get crazy with it.
Oh, but
a lot of those yards were at times where they were already up. and like the Titans were.
That doesn't matter.
I know, I'm aware, but they took advantage of play calls. So like, congratulations. What do you want me to say? I am not crowning this freaking guy the second coming or the baby goat. Like,
I didn't say he was a baby goat. I'm just saying I think they're the best team
I'm not.
in the NFL. I'm not talking about Mac Jones. I just say I think they're the best team in the
Listen,
NFL.
this is what I need to see from them, okay? They're 23rd in red zone offense. They don't put the ball in the end zone enough for me to want to say that they can compete against a team like Kansas City who can just go off at any second. Or even Buffalo has a very good offense. I will give that to them. Granted, I think Bill knows how to mess with Josh a little bit. But also, an interesting stat that I forgot I was going to bring up is, did you know the Patriots are first in, I think they're first in percentage of drives where they score points. They score points on 50% of their drives.
They get a lot of field goals.
But they get a lot of field goals. So, like...
Yeah, they don't finish touchdowns.
Exactly, and this is a big problem. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's getting better, but I don't know. I'm not ready to put them up against Kansas City yet. I think Kansas City is so dangerous offensively that because they can score like 21 points in like 5 minutes. Like,
guys, that's he's over here smirking because he doesn't want to say it, but underlying like under it all.
Here, I'll give you this. They're the best team in the AFC East. I'll tell you that. I don't think Buffalo's playing very well this year. Well, I told you they're going to come back to earth a little bit. They have. Yeah, and I will say that another thing is Mac Jones is going to win Rookie of the Year, hands down. So you can take that to the bank. You want me to give you some pro Patriot stuff? There you go. But
no,
I'm keeping it real as far as trying to crown.
I mean, of course he's gonna win. He's gonna win Rookie of the Year because it's a quarterback. He's the only rookie quarterback that's doing well enough. Exactly. And they're going to give it to a quarterback over a running back or receiver because, like, there are receivers that are playing pretty well.
Jamar Chase is the only one that has a chance.
I'm sorry. Are we counting out Waddle's second half performance? Give him some time. He's heating up.
Waddle has to play at. He has to play
Waddle's
out
got
of
a
his
lot
He's about to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, talking about individual players, that wraps it up for BK Bets. Ryan, it's fantasies. It's time to go. Let's do it.
All right, man. Hey, look, this is what I just want to do a PSA. We got 2 weeks left until most of you are in the playoffs. Start looking at defensive.
Or on the couch.
Yeah, or you're on the couch. Start looking at defensive matchups during the playoffs and if you have an extra bench spot where you slide someone into your IR, start trying to put together those defenses that you're going to want during the playoffs. Like, I can get a list together next week, but like, just start looking at the matchups and I have a one league. I have 3 defenses on my bench, and it's a big roster. Well, but
why is that?
Just because I don't want to have to fight on. You don't want to have to fight waiver wire priority where like you're in the playoffs against someone else. You want to gather these defenses to make sure that you have good matchups during the playoffs because you could win or lose if a defense gets you negative points or 0 points. That's like playing 9 against 10. Like it's already put you behind the curve. So start looking at some of that stuff. And it's kind of too late now, but you should be getting your handcuffs in order. If you got big name running backs, you're gonna want to get the handcuffs. So I mean, I know I did it. I needed to get back AJ Dillon, but like players like that, you like Madison. If you don't have Madison, try and get him on your team. Your trade deadline's probably over, but like those are those backup running backs. If you have Montgomery, you want to get Khalil Herbert. You want to get these guys that like would get the bulk of the carries if your main stud goes down. Jamal Williams is proof of that. Swift is going to probably miss a couple weeks, and Jamal Williams might win some people some championships if Swift is out for more than just 2 weeks. So just some little things that you're going to want to start looking at. going forward. Sony, I think Henderson.
And I cut him in our league. I said, and I cut Jamal Williams in our league this week.
Yeah, I cut him in a league too. I think I'm the one that dropped him because he was just eating space up, and I just
You did. You dropped him. I picked him up, and then I dropped him for I forgot who.
Exactly.
I didn't mean to interrupt yourself.
No, you're good. And then so just DFS. I'm just gonna hit the games that you need to target this week. The Tampa Bay versus the Falcons game. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I would take the over on that one. I think the Falcons offensively can put up points. Anytime that you have two teams that are good on offense and meh on defense, I think the Bucs defense is getting a lot better. They do good against the run, but not so great against pass catching running backs, which is basically what Cordero Patterson is. So I want players that are a part of that Atlanta game, the Atlanta Tampa Bay game. The Rams are playing Jacksonville. You want players on the Rams side. Jacksonville's going to get demolished. The Colts versus the Texans. Michael Pittman is my man. I love that guy. He's getting like 10 targets a week, it feels like. He doesn't connect on a ton of them, but he gets a lot of targets. So, and then the Vikings at Detroit. If Thielen is safe bet for a touchdown in that game, and at least like 7 to 8 catches for what's his name, Jefferson. And then Kenny would love this game, but the Bengals offense going against the Chargers offense, like those two teams going against each other, like I'll have players on both sides of the game because the Chargers haven't shown great stuff on defense, but the Bengals aren't like a defense I want to write home about. So I think that could be a shootout. But those are the games I would definitely target if I'm stacking a game. It's going to be the Bengals and the Chargers game. I like Herbert this week a lot.
I like Joe Burrow a lot this week. I think a lot they've been giving Joe Mixon a lot of carries, and I think they go away that this week because I think Herbert, like you're saying, is going to have a lot of passes, going to put a lot of points up, and they're going to have to throw the ball. So,
all right, cool.
That's for BK Bet? Or not BK Bet. That's for
That's
Ron
it.
Kenzie?
That's it.
Man, short and simple.
I'm not messing
point. I
around.
like it. All right, well, not at all. Let me get to BK Bets. Well, let's get to BK Bets. Me and Brian. I don't know if you guys. No, you guys don't, because you guys don't even look on Action Sports. But if you did, we would have won some money for you guys last week. We hit a basketball 3-team parlay, and we hit a college 2 out of 3, but we pushed on one, so we hit that as well. So to put your money in your pockets. Keep looking and paying attention to the basketball because we're heating up. We're starting to hit them on the head for the 3-teamers. But for NCAA this week, for the championships, I'm going San Diego State -6 versus Utah State. Right, under a radar game. San Diego State's been a team that's been playing pretty decent for the whole year. A lot of people are not watching them because they're playing in the Mountain West and they're late night. Right, but I've seen them fairly amount of times and they're pretty decent. Baylor's +5 versus Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State coming off that big game last week versus Oklahoma, beating them. They are a good team, don't get me wrong, but I really like Baylor's team. I like their coach. He's a defensive-minded coach, and I think he'll scheme some stuff for Oklahoma. So I wouldn't take him at +5. I'll actually push it to +7. You'll lose a couple dollars, but I think a touchdown is a safe bet in that game. And then my last game is going to be a Wake Forest +3 versus Pittsburgh. Yeah, I know a lot of people like Pickett, and I know he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks coming out this year. But in my opinion, I do like Hartman, and I think he's going to have a good game for Wake Forest, and I think they're still going to be able to put up points. Pittsburgh defense is like iffy, and I know Wake Forest can put up points for sure.
All right, NFL. I got you a 3-team parlay. We got Arizona -7 at Chicago. Kyler's going to be back. Hopefully D-Hop as well. I think that they're going to ball out. Just coming off their bye week. They had 2 weeks to get ready for this. They're going to be ready to go. I got New England +3 at Buffalo on Monday night. It was +2.5, but I bet the hook. So, and then Cincinnati -3 against the Chargers. I think, they're playing so well. Joe Mixon, the way he's running the ball, and the Chargers can't stop the run ever. So, I think that Cincinnati's going to walk away with that game. So that's my 3-teamer.
I have nothing to say to that, because I would say something because I'm a Chargers fan, but we haven't done nothing to say that.
You know what?
We'll prove you
You
otherwise.
know, I love the Chargers, but they have no. I don't know what it is, and like there's just no like I don't know. There's no like fire. Like I need them to like. Maybe it's like no enthusiasm. They just do what they do, and that's it. Like I need them to like.
They're just out there. They don't have any player on their team that is fiery or has any like attitude, right? Eckler is a nice guy. Keenan Allen's a nice guy. Mike Williams is a nice guy. Justin Herbert's a nice guy. Jared Cook's a nice guy. Like, who is the guy that's going to have some energy?
I thought that was Derwin James. I thought that was going to be Derwin
James, but I feel like his personality is kind of like chilled out. I feel like when he first got there,
I think it was Melvin Ingram. That's who you guys are missing on defense. I feel like he played with a lot of fire. So, I think he was your guy on D.
Because Joey Bosa's quiet.
The Bosa boys are always quiet. It's just the way they are.
So, but yeah, man. Do y'all have anything before we close them out?
Nope. Just you guys are gonna sit back and watch the Patriots be crowned the AFC champs, AFC East champs. No problem. You heard it here.
Yeah, as Ryan
heard
rubs
it here
his
first
eyes.
on Two Joes and a Pro. Don't you forget it.
Hey, man. As always, we appreciate the support. We appreciate you guys following us on all the socials. Continue to like and subscribe on YouTube. Like the post on Instagram and Facebook. 2022, we have a lot in store for you guys. It's coming around the corner. 30 days away from the New Year's. So that's even crazier in its own sense. But website's going to be coming up. We got a lot of different things that's coming up you guys' way. We're Alley. So stay tuned for that. We appreciate the support. Have a good week.
Cowboys suck.